My name is Panski. I'm from Israel. My graduating class is the class of 2015. I joined UWC Maastricht in the year of 2012, and I've been in the school for a total of 3 years. I can say that yeah, I have some experience with the culture of Maastricht. The people. I've been here in total after I'm returning here, so I've been around in the city. In terms of people of Maastricht, I guess I have more interaction with the people from school, so the boarding house students and also the day students. So yeah, okay. The biggest learnings from my experience in UWC are, I think first of all, hands-on experience with a very diverse group of young people, working really closely with people from different backgrounds and from different places all over the world really teaches you a lot of things about the best way to interact with people, how to go about doing different things. Also, I think UWC and IB together results in kind of a really pressured environment because of the academic program, which is really interesting because of that in combination with a diverse amount of people, the diversity of people leads to some really good friendships because you end up being and spending a lot of time together. The thing that I'm most proud of achieving in my years in UWC Maastricht, I think first of all is graduating, and after are the connections that I made with people from different places, and sharing stories and hearing other stories is really something that will kind of lead me on in my life after from my graduation point until where I am now, and I can see in the future as well. Yeah.
Semester?
Yeah, so some of the fondest memories, I think, just I would say as a day student, especially when it came to the DP program. As a day student, towards the half point of my second year, I would spend a lot more time around the boarding house, and I think some days where I would just spend time with my friends in their floors or things like that would really always lead to very funny memories, interesting discussions about a wide variety of things, and just some really, really good laughs that you could see that everyone is being kind of the best self and very genuine about how they are, their opinions, and I think it's something very, very unique about United World Colleges in general, and it really gives you something special to remember. Yeah.
If anything.
What would I have done differently? I think it takes a bit of time to make the switch from the middle years program to the diploma program, especially for someone that came from a public school background. So it took me the switch. Before I came to Maastricht, I lived in Israel for 3 years, and so just to make the switch from that culture, way of thinking, and just general how you interact with people to coming here and being put in a very diverse and international community. Just that change took a lot of time to kind of take place and be processed by me and how to deal with it. And then a year later, it was already like interacting with like a bunch of people. So it took a lot of time to know how to kind of carry myself around and also how to deal with academic pressures. So I think if I would have to do something differently, would have been to kind of put myself out there a lot more from the very beginning. But I guess you learn with time. So yeah. In regards to the day student residential gaps, I think that it's really interesting because I actually had some discussions with people from other UWCs that also have the same thing going, especially in Singapore. Um, and I see it as a very, very interesting thing because when you move from the middle years program, MYP 5, which is year 11, and you move to the diploma program, you're not really told or you can't really understand that there's going to be around 100 and something to 200 people just showing up on campus the first day of school the next year. And I actually did not know before speaking with residential students that they went through this incredibly hard and long process of getting selected to the school and getting here from such a diverse amount of backgrounds. And I think the fact that day students can just continue on and get to DP, whereas the residential students need to go through this whole process, that already just creates a huge gap of how you appreciate the place and how you appreciate the school. And so I think that for me, my experience was I tried my best. At one point when I understood that there is this gap, I tried my best to interact as much as I can and stay in the boarding house and all of that. But in the end of the day, I couldn't really do anything about the fact that some of the greatest memories that people have, or like some of the really kind of deep discussions, come after a certain hour in which I can't really be in the boarding house anymore. But I mean, I think that from my second year onwards, I was really kind of pushing on with another good friend of mine to kind of be in the boarding house as much as I can. And I think that in itself kind of bridged the gap. But I'm also very well aware that in terms of how residential students think versus how your average day student thinks is usually very different, just because of how they see the school. From my experience speaking to other day students, United World College, Maastricht resembles to them more of just a high school, whereas, of course, to the residential students, it's so much more than that. And I think once I made that switch, then I also saw it in a kind of similar way to residential students, and I'm really happy about that. So to the question, yes, there is a gap, but I think that with time it's getting bridged over because the school is getting better in portraying what UWC actually is and what it stands for. So yeah. Well, in this last year I've actually been very fortunate to get accepted into Global Citizen Year, which is a bridge year program. And I got one of the 23 scholarships which were offered by Shelby Davis. And so I have been living and apprenticing in Ecuador with a host family, and working in my apprenticeship, which was a special education school in the southern part of Ecuador. It's been a very, very interesting and challenging experience, kind of going out there to the world after graduating from UWC Maastricht. It gave me a lot, learning how to deal with things by myself, with a new culture, new people, a completely new language. Yeah, so I think this past year was a very, very good year of Global Citizen Year as a kind of gap year, bridge year program. Yeah. The program is very much focused on self-growth, leadership, and so I was learning kind of how would I put it in the best way. I was working in the school as an aide to a teacher, so I was learning from the teacher what it takes to teach, the years of studying that the teacher did, and how he and she, depending on the day, how they bring it to class. And so it was a very challenging experience, because working with special needs is you need to be very kind of attentive to each of a student, and be there 100% of the time and listen to what they want and need, which is hard when you arrive and you don't really know the language at all. So it was very challenging, but overall, I think in terms of what I did and how I did it, I was teaching, and I was helping the teacher teach different subjects ranging from mathematics to very basic vocab, to just grammar lessons. It was a really good and powerful experience. Yeah. So if I feel that UWC Maastricht prepared me for the world outside, I think that in a lot of ways it definitely did, because I think under the pressure that I faced here in terms of academics and in terms of academics, like I think going first, if I look to the future, to the immediate future, and looking towards university, I think that it did prepare me for that, and I think the fact that it's a United World College and it has all the students from all these backgrounds adds so much more, because you're prepared to go out there and kind of dive a lot deeper and explore all these wonderful and interesting conversations and discussions you had, and really learn about them and make them the drive for the change, which for me was, in an instance for me, as an example, is the fact that I would always have all these discussions. As an Israeli, I would always have all these discussions about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict with my friend. And so we ended up doing this workshop for the International Peace Conference. And until now, I still carry everything that I learned from that process, all the discussions I had. And I'm really looking forward to university, because I know that it will be a time where I can really push myself to study about it more from different aspects, listen to people who have been studying it, and the theories that involve it. And so I think in the sense of academics, it really did prepare me, and in the sense of kind of going from talking about things to kind of living the questions afterwards in university and kind of looking for those answers. However, I think in terms of the mindset, it's a really drastic switch, because in United World College, there's this, or in Maastricht, United World College Maastricht to be precise, there is this tendency, which I think is really good, actually, of being very idealistic and thinking all these great things and how easy it will be to step out of the class and go and be these really big change makers. And I think it's a great attitude and it's a great thing to start with, but it becomes really hard when you actually go out to the world and try and do that, which is obvious, but sometimes it gets too idealistic, I think. And so the switch sometimes really kind of shatters your hopes and dreams, which is bad. But I think it's getting also it's getting better. So yeah, I think that's definitely something that was hard, doing the change and understanding that there's this kind of real world outside which doesn't necessarily obey to the rules of the way of thinking that we have here in UWC Maastricht. Okay, so some of the skills that I acquired and I later applied over this past year, they were, I think, definitely going into kind of more socially first, is like the social skills and ability to kind of interact with a different range of people, because going to Global Citizen Year, we were first introduced to our kind of global group, which was around 80 people, and later on when we arrived to the country, we were kind of, in Ecuador we were 40 people, and you really had to kind of interact all the time and have all these discussions and workshops, which was really interesting and great, but definitely being here in UWC Maastricht, you really kind of were forced to learn in the best of ways, how to interact with a lot of different people and how to voice your opinion in a really good way. And also I think later on, in terms of culture and in terms of interacting with my host parents, my host family, I think I really did learn a lot about how to convey what I think in the best of ways from my years in UWC Maastricht. And I think that also academically, you learn a lot when you're under pressure and you study for finals here with the IB system. It's a lot of stress and pressure, and it gives you a lot of really good learning skills. You know when you can kind of do your work, and how best to do it, and when you can give yourself some time and relax a bit. And so I think at times this year, I had to do different works for university and also some other academic things, and you really know how to kind of balance it out pretty well, to kind of have the best end result that you can. So that's a very valuable skill, I think, in the long run. Yeah. For now, I'm actually not 100% sure, but for now, my plans are going to Leiden University College in The Hague, and studying there towards a major in world politics. And so afterwards, I have no clue. I think it's just a matter of kind of taking the opportunities as they come and seeing where it develops. Hopefully I'll manage to make something good out of it, but yeah. Well, any messages to the class of 2016? I think the biggest one for me, just in general, I mean, I know it sounds so cliche and everything, but I think it works if you apply it well. Just kind of seize every opportunity you have, whether it is just finishing now, if you're taking a gap year, if you're in university and you have your chances of getting involved with things, it's gonna go a long way, taking different opportunities, and then you'll probably learn a lot from it, and you can also do some good things, I think. So yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And good luck in the future.
Thank you.